Nintendo just revealed Star Fox for Switch 2, and the very first thing I want to talk about is the brand new 4 vs 4 battle mode, because Team Star Fox vs Team Star Wolf in online multiplayer is something Star Fox fans have never had before, and it looks absolutely incredible. But that's just one piece of what Nintendo revealed in that direct. There are new modes, new story content, completely redesigned characters, and Switch 2 exclusive features that change how this game plays from the ground up. So sit back, relax, and let's break down every single new feature in Star Fox Switch 2. Before we dive into the specific modes, I just want to quickly set the table here, because I think the most important question people have right now is, what exactly is new in this game versus the original Star Fox 64? And basically, here is the short answer. At its core, this is still Star Fox 64. The Lilat system is still there, Corneria is still the first planet, Andross is still the main villain, barrel rolls are still in, all of that is still intact. But Nintendo has rebuilt everything around that foundation from the ground up. The visuals are completely overhauled, and I mean completely. Every single planet, every stage, every character model has been rebuilt to take full advantage of the Nintendo Switch 2. So when you fly into Corneria now, it's not just a sharper version of what you remember, it genuinely looks like a brand new game. Then on top of that, Nintendo has added 3 brand new game modes that were never in Star Fox 64, and those are the big ones we're going to spend most of this video on. There's also brand new story content, never before seen mission briefings between every stage, fully voiced dialogue across the entire game, and a complete orchestral soundtrack replacing the original MIDI compositions. And then there's the Switch 2 exclusive features, Joy-Con 2 mouse controls, GameChat AR filters, Game Share support, all of which are brand new and all of which I'm going to walk you through individually. So the short version is, if you've never touched Star Fox 64, this is the best possible version of that game. And if you played Star Fox 64 100 times, there is genuinely enough new here to make this worth your time. Let's get into exactly what that new stuff is. Let's start with campaign mode, because even though this is the most familiar mode for Star Fox veterans, Nintendo has made some really meaningful additions here. Campaign mode is your main story. You're Fox McCloud. You're flying your R-Wing through the Lilat system, and your goal is to reach Andross and take him down before he destroys everything. Same as SF64, but there are a few key differences. First, the mission briefings. Between every single stage, there are now brand new cinematic cutscenes that weren't in the original game. So you're actually getting character moments and story context before each mission that just didn't exist before. And all of the dialogue across the entire game, Slippy, Peppy, Falco, all of it, is now fully voiced. No more text boxes. It's a proper cinematic experience now. Second, the routes. Just like in SF64, the choices you make during campaign mode can actually change which planets you visit and which path you take through the Lilat system. So you can play through the full campaign multiple times and genuinely see different content each time. Third, difficulty. You start on easy or normal, and if you can earn all the medals on normal, you unlock the expert setting. So there's a real progression curve here that gives completionists a lot to work toward. And the planets themselves. Nintendo specifically called out Corneria and Zonus in the Direct along with other planets. Corneria is the vibrant homeworld you remember. Zonus is a desolate, polluted ocean world, and seeing that reimagined in Switch 2 visuals is really something else. The water effects alone look incredible on this hardware. Okay, let's talk about the exciting brand new 4 vs 4 online multiplayer mode that has never existed in any Star Fox game before. Here's how it works. You have up to 8 players split into 2 teams, Team Star Fox and Team Star Wolf, and you play across 3 different maps, each with its own objective. The first map is Corneria, and on Corneria, the objective is to secure control of a designated zone. So it's basically a King of the Hill style mode set over the streets of Corneria, which is just a wild and awesome setting for a Star Fox multiplayer match. The second map is Ficina, and on Ficina the objective is to collect energy crystals. So you're flying around this icy planet racing your opponents to grab as many crystals as you can. That's going to be chaotic in the best possible way. And then the third map is Sector Y. And on Sector Y, the objective is to retrieve cargo from space pirates. So it's kind of a capture style mode set in open space. 3 completely different objectives, 3 completely different maps. You can play battle mode online or set up private matches with your friends. And here's something that's pretty cool. With GameShare, you can actually have up to 4 players competing locally or online. So if you've got friends over, you can all get into a battle mode match together on one console. Now let's talk about challenge mode. And this one is really well designed, so I want to make sure you understand exactly what it is because it's different from just replaying campaign mode. Basically, challenge mode lets you go back to any stage you've already cleared in campaign mode, but now you're given a completely new set of objectives to complete in that same stage. And some of those objectives are things you literally cannot do in campaign mode. They only exist in challenge mode. So the short version is, if you've cleared campaign mode, challenge mode is essentially a whole second layer of content built on top of the same maps. Normal and expert difficulty are both available, so there's a real challenge curve here too. For anyone who loves going for 100% completion, this mode is going to give you a lot of reasons to keep coming back after you finish the main story. And here on my channel, I will definitely be creating videos dedicated to how to complete and cheese these different challenges, so be sure to come back and check those out after game launch. And real quick, if you're finding this breakdown helpful and you haven't subscribed yet, now is a really great time to hit that subscribe button. I've got plenty of Star Fox Switch 2 content coming both before and after launch on June 25th, and I really do appreciate every single one of you viewers and subscribers. Alright, let's keep going. Now let's talk about 2 features that I think are going to change how a lot of people experience campaign mode, and those are co-op mode and the Joy-Con 2 mouse controls. And these 2 features are actually connected, so I want to walk through both of them together. So Joy-Con 2 mouse controls, if you're playing campaign mode or challenge mode solo, you can just pick up a Joy-Con 2, lay it flat on a surface like a mouse, and use it to aim. And what Nintendo is saying is that it makes targeting more intuitive. You're physically moving the controller to aim at enemies, rather than just using a stick. If you've ever used gyro aiming in a shooter and liked it, this is going to be right up your alley. But here's where it gets really interesting. And I just think this new feature is so cool. If a friend joins you, either sitting next to you on the same system or joining through GameShare, one of you flies the R-Wing and the other takes over the guns. So you have a pilot and a gunner. One person is handling the movement and the barrel rolls, and the other person is just purely focused on aiming and shooting with the mouse controls. So you can literally hand a Joy-Con 2 to someone sitting right next to you, make them the gunner, and you handle the flying. Or vice versa. That is such a cool co-op setup for this game. And for GameShare, the person joining you doesn't even need to own the game. They just join through GameChat and get access to the co-op session for that session. And speaking of GameChat, there are some new features with GameChat with the Star Fox Switch 2 that are pretty fun. With GameChat on Nintendo Switch 2, Star Fox has 2 separate character features built in. The first is character avatars. So while you're chatting with friends through GameChat, you can set your avatar to look like Fox McCloud, Falco, or any of the Star Fox crew, and the avatar actually mirrors your facial expressions and movements in real time. So if you tilt your head, Fox tilts his head. If you smile, the avatar reacts. It's using the Switch 2 camera to map your face onto the character. The second feature is AR filters, and so basically these let you put on Star Fox themed augmented reality effects, like a pair of Star Fox ears, or a Falco-inspired beak that actually moves when you talk. So you're literally sitting there with Fox McCloud ears on your head while you're playing. And if you're playing with kids or streaming for a family-friendly audience, these are going to be a huge hit. Now, just a heads up, and this is worth knowing before launch day, a Day 1 update is required to access Battle Mode and the GameChat features. So when you boot up the game on June 25th, just make sure you download that update first before you try to jump into Battle Mode online, or you won't be able to access it. The single-player campaign mode doesn't need the update, so if you just want to jump straight into the story, you can do that, but for online play and game chat, you have to grab the update first. Alright, let's talk about the visual overhaul, and specifically the character redesigns, because this has had some discussion since the direct dropped, and I think it's worth just addressing it directly. So the environments first, because the environments are just stunning, and I don't think there's any debate there. Corneria looks like a fully realized world now. Zonus has real ocean depth and atmosphere. The nebula sections look incredible, and the asteroid fields have genuine scale. Nintendo has taken full advantage of the Switch 2 hardware here, and the visual upgrade is dramatic. Now, the character redesigns. Every member of the Star Fox team has been redesigned from the ground up. Fox, Falco, Peppy, Slippy, the whole crew. And the reactions online have been a bit mixed, particularly around Falco. Some feel like Falco's new design is a significant departure from what they're used to, and honestly, I can understand that. When you've grown up with a character looking a certain way, any change is going to feel jarring at first. It took me a minute to get used to Peppy's new design. But here's my take. The new designs are doing something intentional. They're more expressive. The characters can now emote properly in those cinematic cutscenes in a way that the original polygon models just couldn't do. And now, one of the most exciting new features added to this new version of the game, the James McCloud Prologue. If you know Star Fox lore, you know that James McCloud, Fox's father, sacrificed himself years before the events of Star Fox 64, betrayed by Pigma Dengar and killed by Andross. And that backstory has always been told in fragments, a line of dialogue here, a flashback there, but it's never been shown directly in a game. Until now. Star Fox for Switch 2 includes a brand new prologue featuring James McCloud, and this is story content that has never been seen before in any Star Fox game. It is showing events that happened before Star Fox 64, and it is the reason Fox McCloud becomes the leader of the Star Fox team. This isn't just a cutscene. It's presented as its own story segment, and it has the emotional weight that Star Fox fans have been waiting for a very long time. The Prologue trailer that Nintendo released got nearly 1 million views in just a few days, so clearly this is resonating with people. I'm going to be making a dedicated video breaking down every detail of the James McCloud Prologue, every scene, every place of lore, everything it tells us about Fox's backstory, so if that's something you want to see, make sure you subscribe so you don't miss it when it goes up. But for now, just know that this prologue is probably the most meaningful new addition to Star Fox lore in the history of the franchise. And I am super stoked that they added it into this new version of the game. So let's close this all out with the question, is Star Fox for Nintendo Switch 2 worth playing? If you've never played Star Fox 64, yes, absolutely. This is the definitive version of one of the best Nintendo games ever made, rebuilt from the ground up, with visuals that actually match how incredible that game felt to play back in 1997. If you've played Star Fox 64 100 times, I still think yes, and here's why. Online 4 vs 4 multiplayer with Team Star Fox versus Team Star Wolf, 3 maps, 3 different objective types. That is genuinely new content, not just a remaster. Add in challenge mode, the James McCloud Prologue, the fully voiced cutscenes, the co-op gunner mechanic, and the Joy-Con 2 mouse controls, and this is a meaningful upgrade over what you remember. The one thing I will say is, if you are hoping for entirely new planets and a brand new Star Fox campaign, this isn't that. This is Star Fox 64 rebuilt and expanded. Star Fox Switch 2 launches on June 25th, and I will absolutely be getting it on day one. And I will have a guide ready for you very soon thereafter. And speaking of which, if you're interested in seeing a secret Easter egg that Nintendo added in the Star Fox Switch 2 Direct that most people missed, click the video on your screen right now. Thank you all so much for watching. If you found this breakdown helpful, a like and a subscribe goes a really long way, and I really do appreciate it. Take a look at the other Star Fox and Nintendo Switch 2 videos I've posted. There's a lot more coming between now and June 25th. I hope you all have a great day. Thanks for watching.